Today we are treated to another 4 games, including pre-tournament favourites. That's right, Spain start their World Cup campaign against 67th ranked Cape Verde. That one is at 5 p.m. And Belgium start their tournament against Egypt, a side that conceded no goals during qualifying. Mohamed Salah is also chasing a historic record in this World Cup. That one is at 8 p.m. And it's also time for Bielsa to get his bucket out because Uruguay are in Miami eventually. They got there eventually. You'll see what I mean when we cover that game. They are playing Saudi Arabia. That one is at 11 p.m. UK. And the early morning game sees Iran leave their base in Mexico and travel to LA. They will play New Zealand. And we saw what Australia had to offer. I was very, very pleasantly surprised watching Australia. They kept the ball well. What can New Zealand deliver on the big stage? This would be considered a pretty surprising victory, I think, if they were to get over the line against Iran. And before we dig into the data for all of these games, here is the winner from the previous video. Well done to you. Your comment was selected at random. Fantastic stuff, great prediction there. And the same applies for this video. All you have to do is comment on this video to enter the competition for a month of OddAlerts Pro, and I'm going to make it easy for you. What's the score going to be, or what is your general prediction for Belgium against Egypt? I think that is the trickiest game to call, although many of you will expect a Belgium victory for today's card. Best of luck if you are entering. So we start with Spain, the European champions, and our model is giving them a 67% rating. That's about 1.49 as implied odds. You can see the bookies are much more confident, as you would be. 1.11 is the best price you're going to get for Spain to win this one. Taking a look at Cape Verde's results here, we can see that they had a very good end to the qualifying stage. Unbeaten, plenty of clean sheets, and beating Cameroon, finishing above Cameroon in qualifying. And they are very well deserving of being here, their first ever World Cup. They are 67th in the world, as I mentioned in the intro, and they are on a 3-game unbeaten run at this moment in time. They drew with Finland, that was in March, and then the couple of friendlies that they played, they beat Serbia 3-0. and Bermuda 3-0. Serbia, really, what is going on with Serbia? I've seen a few recent results for them where they've just been battered by teams you would not expect them to be battered by, quite frankly. Now we'll look at Spain, and they are firm favourites for the competition with the bookmakers. And yes, they're on a great unbeaten run here. I think since 2023 across competitive games. They are European champions, of course. The last game that they lost was actually to Scotland in qualifying for said championship, which they won. But what about this for an unbeaten record? They have lost just once to an African side, and that was in 1998 when they lost 3-2 to Nigeria. So that unbeaten run has gone on for some time, and I highly doubt that it gets broken today against Cape Verde. We're just going to use the drop down here to select first half goals because the last 13 competitive games for Spain have seen a first half goal being scored. Will they come out strong in this one? And what's also interesting, if we select second half goals, we can see that some of the same games, in fact, many of the same games, also contained multiple goals in the second half. 7 goals in the second half when they played against France. 5 in that Netherlands game. Can Spain score in both halves of this game? And just additionally, just to show you the kind of form that Spain are in and what their games are like, we can look at over 2.5 goals here on the drop down, and the games go green if it happened and red if it didn't. And as we scroll, you can see that the vast majority of games have contained 3 or more goals. And just sticking with Spain, just because I want to show you the discipline and the control that they do have at this moment in time, we're looking at cards received in the qualification for the World Cup, they did not receive more than one card in any of these games. I think that is pretty impressive. Okay, they're not playing the best teams in the world, and Cape Verde are certainly not that, but I just think it shows the level of control they have at this moment in time. What is interesting though, and we had this for the Germany game, and I'm thinking about something potentially similar. Shots on target against, they have conceded 1 or more shots on target in 8 of the last 10, and then plenty beyond that as well. But 8 of their last 10 games, they failed to concede a shot on target in both games against Bulgaria. So Bulgaria didn't put a dent on Spain. Cape Verde, being their first World Cup, surely they're going to go for this at some point. Their fans, the people that live there, they want to see their team at least try and attack, surely. Now, with Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams both just back in training, it is unlikely that they will both start. There's also potential rotation in the midfield. Not sure if it'll be Zubamendi in there or Fabian Ruiz, Rodri. Expected to start, but again, you wouldn't blame the Spanish manager if he rotated for this game. They are expected to win regardless of who is on that pitch. The quality difference is profound, so this is what I am going for. So I am going with the under again. Let's see how this one goes. I do still believe, depending on the heat, that these games can peter out and go flat, especially if Spain do have a 2-3-0 lead in this one and they are making substitutions. If they are winning, they may not even risk Lamine Yamal coming on. Depends how he is. Him and Nico Williams both coming back from hamstring injuries, I believe. So it's not something you want to risk at all unless they are 100% fit. If you are looking for some player selections, I think Fernan Torres to score or assist. I did look at all of these, but the odds are just really, really low, as you would expect for this game, a game where Spain are expected to dominate. What would you change from this selection? I really do look forward to reading your predictions. Now then, Belgium, Egypt, De Bruyne against Salah in Group G, both chasing glory, those players, and plenty of other aging players as well in what is their last World Cup, no doubt about that. Belgium looking to make amends after exiting Qatar in the group stages. We'll look at Egypt first because they are a rock-solid team, and they went far in AFCON, knocked out by eventual champions, sort of, Senegal. And then they played the third-place playoff there against Nigeria. In qualifying, they did not concede a single goal. And Belgium sailed through qualifying, but you would fully expect them to do so. So then you can take a look at their friendly results, and they also paint a pretty picture with comfortable wins over Tunisia, Croatia, and the USA. As we take a look at the goal metrics here, I would expect Belgium to dominate the ball and spend most of the time trying to break down a very well-organised Egyptian team who will try and break with Salah and Marmoush. And speaking of Mo Salah, he has been deemed fit to play, but not 100%. He is chasing 2 goals at this tournament that would make him the Egyptian all-time top goal scorer. Can he do it at the World Cup? I'm sure he'll do it later on, unless he retires after the World Cup. But what a place to do it would be at this World Cup. And if you need a reminder of the quality that Belgium has, Courtois, De Bruyne, Doku, Trossard, Lukaku, Tielemans, Onana. They've got some brilliant players, and some of them that I've just mentioned there. This is the last chance for what was deemed the golden generation of Belgian football. So we jump to the player tool now on our World Cup hub, and we are looking at the Belgium versus Egypt game, and by default we're looking at goals, and we can see that Jeremy Doku ended the season in great shape. He scored 5 goals in Manchester City's last 10 games, some of them very important goals as well. You feel like he is the one Egypt need to keep quiet if they've got any chance in this game. And we've just added a new feature, link in the description to check all of this out. You can click on the data now, and you can see all of the metrics and the percentile across all World Cup players in that position. So Jeremy Doku, in the last 10 games, has created 23 chances, and that puts him in the 98th percentile across all World Cup attackers. So this is really, really useful. You can scroll down. What I'm going to do probably today is have a little sort button here, so you can sort by the percentile. I think that would be really interesting, so you can just see where this player is topping the charts across all of the World Cup players. We can see as well, key passes 23. Doku is the danger man, no doubt about that. Look at all that for his passing and creation data. And when we look at fouls drawn using the same tool, we can see that Jeremy Doku is in a league of his own. Leandro Trossard as well, 2.05 fouls per game. I do like him, and also Yuri Tielemans to commit a foul. Yuri Tielemans very, very good under pressure. So Belgium against Egypt, here's my prediction. Make sure to get yours in the comments for your chance to win OddAlerts Pro. Jeremy Doku to have a shot on target. He is the danger man at the moment for Belgium, in fine form indeed. Belgium to score in the second half. I see Egypt sitting back, defending well, as we know they can, but eventually I think they will be broken down. And Leandro Trossard to win a foul for his team. That one was close. Trossard, I was looking at Tielemans, I was looking at Marmoush, who I think will have an important role in terms of getting his team up the pitch, winning fouls, very important for Egypt, who will try and make the most of set pieces, which, you know, for set pieces you need fouls. So Marmoush would be a good option, Mo Salah as well, but the odds for Salah are abysmal, and he isn't 100% fit as well. So that's my prediction for the game. Let me know yours in the comments. Will Belgium put a marker down, maybe 2 or 3-0 in this game, or will Egypt frustrate them and potentially draw this game? Let us all know in the comments. Now, Saudi against Uruguay. Bielsa and his bucket will be in action, but they were delayed in getting to Miami. Their plane did not take off. They were all there waiting and ready, and they had to wait a few more hours. Bielsa was not happy at the organization here. It is an error, an administrative error by FIFA, who have really not covered themselves in glory this World Cup. And Bielsa has already had strong opinions on the organisation of this tournament and previous tournaments especially. He will be even more annoyed now. So they arrived in Miami with less than 24 hours to go for the game. How much will that impact their planning and preparation? I'm not sure. It was only a few hours that they were delayed, but of course it just, you know, ruins the flow and the planning. He had to delay or cancel his press conference as well. Bielsa is a character. I do love him, and I think many people will be rooting for Uruguay because of that. There may not be many goals in this game. If we look at Saudi Arabia's qualification, they scored just 10 goals in 12 qualifying games. And if we look at their recent games, what I would say about them is that they beat the teams you would expect them to beat, and they lose to the teams you would expect them to lose to. They beat Puerto Rico, they drew with Senegal, which is probably a good result, but it was a pre-tournament friendly, so you can't really gauge much from that. They lost to Ecuador, expected. Lost to Serbia, expected. Lost to Egypt, expected. You know, how will they do in this game? I think they've got some good technical players. I've seen some good compilation clips of them playing some really nice football. But I think Uruguay have the street smarts. They've got a very, very good manager. They've got some very good players as well. And I do think they've got enough to beat Saudi Arabia. And the bookmakers clearly agree, 1.51 for a victory after 90 minutes. And many of you will remember Saudi Arabia for that famous win in 2022 against eventual champions Argentina. Now, if we look at the results for Uruguay, this is why I say that this game may not contain many goals. They're not scoring many goals at the moment, but we don't have the luxury of looking at recent friendlies because Bielsa didn't want to play any friendlies so that his team would be as fresh as possible, maybe also reducing the risk of injuries. So they had no warm-up games at all before this competition. But if we look at competitive games for Uruguay, they have 4 clean sheets in the last 5 games, and they are playing much better opponents here than Saudi Arabia or than Saudi Arabia's opponents. Now looking at some timing data for both teams, we can see that they mostly draw by half time. That is to be expected. They both score less than a goal per game on average in the first half. But what I wanted to show here was the amount of goals conceded in the first half by Uruguay. They are well set up. They don't make mistakes in that first half, and they have conceded 0.18 goals per first half across the last 25 games. Saudi Arabia, to be fair to them, 0.39 as well. So we may see the most goals in the second half in this one. And before we show you the expected lineup for Uruguay, I just want to show you as well the card data. They have received at least 1 card in 14 of the last 15 games played, competitive games. So they are a team that regularly picks up at least 1 card. And we have an Italian referee for this game who has produced over 2.5 cards in 79% of his games in the database. This is the expected lineup for Uruguay. You can see they've got some quality there, a lot of energy and steel in the midfield. Ugarte and Bentancur likely to just sit and rotate the ball, get it to Valverde. I actually see it being more of a narrow diamond. The player on the left there, Araujo, probably not saying that correctly, but he is more of a left back, left wing back. Nunez as well. Liverpool fans will be looking forward to watching him. Always brings the energy. We're going to take a look at fouls per 90 here, and we have Mohamed Kano here, 2.17 fouls per game. He is the central defensive midfielder for Saudi Arabia, so a big task for him to contain what I think could be a bit of a narrow midfield for Uruguay. Valverde off the right. He can hug the touchline, but I do think he will also come into that central area, given that Ugarte and Bentancur can sit deep at times. And just another player to keep an eye on, this is Musab Al-Jawar. He plays for Brendan Rodgers' side in the Saudi Pro League. He is a creative midfielder, the number 7 for Saudi Arabia, can get his foot on the ball, can dictate things, and I think they will surprise a few people in this tournament, given the way they want to try and play. This guy is just 22 years old. He's just won the most promising player in the Saudi Pro League, and I like him to be fouled. So here's the selection then. Kano to commit a foul, the defensive midfielder for Saudi Arabia. Big task ahead. Al-Jawar, the most promising player in the Saudi Pro League, to win a foul as that creative midfielder. Maybe he just looks to relieve some pressure for his team, or there could be spells in this game where Saudi are taking the game to Uruguay. I do not doubt that for a second. Both teams to receive a card and Saudi to get a goal in the second half. I think we could see a bit of a tight first 45 minutes here. And that one is 3.2. As always, what do you think will happen in this game? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Are there any players that I should be looking at? It's hard to research all the players. There's not enough hours in the day, especially not when you're recording these videos. Next up, Iran against New Zealand. So Iran taking on New Zealand. We take a look at the odds here. Evens for Iran. They're 21st in the world, whilst New Zealand are 85th. So just based on that alone, you should never base something just on that alone, of course. But how much will Iran have been impacted by the current political climate coming into this competition? Could they use it as a motivational tool? They've been situated in Mexico for safety reasons, but they do play this opening game in the United States. Our probability model favours Iran, and given the other teams in this group, we've got Belgium and Egypt in this group, this is a huge game for both of these teams. I think a victory for either of these teams would do wonders for their aims of qualifying, and it would be a first ever knockout stage for both of these teams if they were to get there. Let's take a look at some data. When looking at the recent results for New Zealand, it is a sea of red. Since they qualified, we can see here the qualification process, 8-1, 8-0, 7-0. Can we play you every week, Fiji? They'll be shouting from the volcanic mountains of the area. But then they start to play much better opponents, and that's where the red begins. They've got a 4-1 victory against Chile in there, but mostly it does show why they are ranked where they are in the FIFA World Rankings. And for Iran, qualification is a little bit more difficult, but still they are probably the best team. You have Qatar here, North Korea, Hong Kong, Turkmenistan, United Arab Emirates. They should be beating all of these teams, and they mostly do. They lost to Qatar, but I think they were already qualified at that time. They don't lose many games, to be fair. They're well set up. They're difficult to beat. And one thing that I wanted to mention here that I think is important is that the Iranian Premier League and domestic games there have been out of action since March 2026 because of the ongoing conflict between the US and Iran. So there could be a little bit of rustiness, shall we say, for some of those players that do play domestically. I'm sure they've been keeping fit. I'm sure that the FA has had them together training somewhere. It would just make sense. But I just thought that was worth noting. Even with that said, I do think Iran at evens is a good price for me. I think they can definitely beat New Zealand. I've already been stung by Australia playing them down. Surely New Zealand are not going to go and get a win, are they? Across the last 25 competitive fixtures, both teams concede less than a goal per game. Now, a few players that you should be looking out for in this game. The first is Marko Stamenic. He has just played 36 games in the Championship for Swansea, who had certainly good spells in the division last season. 36 games, and the reason I've mentioned him is because he picked up 12 yellow cards. He is a midfielder. 12 yellow cards in 36 games. That is an incredible record. Certainly one to watch for a foul or two, or of course, a yellow card. And then we have the Iranian captain, Mehdi Taremi. He has been around forever. He's now 33. Great goal scorer, really. Still at this age managed 13 goal contributions for Olympiacos this season. He's scored 60 goals for Iran. He is the all-time top scorer. And he's also played over 100 games for Porto, scoring 64 goals. He's had spells at Inter Milan as well. He could still be, at his age, the danger man. And speaking of danger men, for New Zealand, it is, of course, Chris Wood, but he's been nursing an injury. He's been in and out of Nottingham Forest team. He was out for 6 months earlier in the season, came back in, only scored 3 goals in 15 appearances. The season before last, of course, he was absolutely fantastic, but injury has hampered his season this season, but he's back in the New Zealand squad and expected to play in this one. So here's my final selection for this video. Threes. Remember to get yours in the comments for your chance to win and also for your name up in lights in the next video. Look forward to reading all of your predictions. I'm keeping things simple on this final selection, as you can see. Under 4 goals, I think New Zealand are not the best going forward, combined with Iran being better, in my opinion, defensively. A goal to be scored in the second half, that could be either team, but a goal to be scored in the second half, and Iran to win this game. Shop around because there are much better odds than the ones I've priced up here on Bet365. So in tomorrow's episode, I hope to see you here again at 7 AM. If you're enjoying the content, please do leave a comment, give me some feedback, and make sure you are subscribed so you never miss a video ever again. Tomorrow's video, let's just say it's a good one. We have France against Senegal, Iraq against Norway, Erling Haaland's World Cup debut. Will he get a goal? Argentina against Algeria, Lionel Messi. Of course, that's all I need to say there, isn't it? And Austria against Jordan. Some interesting games indeed. Another 4-fold of fixtures. With that said, I'll go and do my preparation and I will see you in the next one.